hell's everybody doing? I've still got lots of movies to go through. Like this one, Cocktails, from 1988. It's a good movie, good date movie. It's a romantic comedy drama that started in Hollywood. It turned out to be a pretty good movie. Young Hollywood, then he went to New York City, but Charlie Tom Cruise was the main actor in this one, and Brian Brown was his co-actor, old man. So anyway, he was in looking for millions, so he went to all the to get rich, and he went to he was going to business school, and he was at the beginning of the movie he went to all the Fortune 500 companies looking for a job as an accountant or whatever, just out of the military, and they didn't give him one. So his father run a bar, family run a bar, and dad run a bar in New York City, and they wanted him to take it over, and it didn't work. He didn't want it. Tom Cruise didn't want it, and so he continued to try to make his millions. So that hurts. He continued to try to make his millions and go into every place that had a job opening. So he ends up at another bar, Flanagan's Pub, I guess it was called. And the bartender, he goes in and looks for trying to get a job, and he gets put behind the bar for one night to see if he could actually do the job with the crowd. He fails miserably, calls one of the cocktail waitresses names. Bitch was the word, female dog. Then she gave him money at the end of the night. And the craziness is, so I just got a text from Sarah. We're trying to work out our wedding date, and she keeps trying to avoid the subject. So definitely going to have to pin her down on that if she is actually going to want to do it. If not, we can go. We can figure something else out. Maybe there's lots of women out there that want to be married. But I'd like to have her, if she does what she says she's going to do, to be the wife. But we'll see about that later. We're going to go ahead and finish this movie review, and I'll deal with her after I'm done. It's kind of funny that this thing. So they end up doing the bar. They do the bar for a while. Well, Charlie Sheen's character learns how to tend bar. I bet that took a while to learn how to do as they were doing it. Then they end up hearing from another group and talking to women and womanizing while they were at that bar. And then they get a Rolling Stones interview, which puts them in a different bar that does poetry and, a high-end rich person's crazy bar that, all the crazy people go to. They want to do poetry, and it's usually packed. So they worked out for a while, and poet bartenders, and give all kinds of crazy drinks. And then Tom Cruise is Brian, or I guess is his name. Was the name he starred as, but we'll call him Tom Cruise because that's who it really was. He ends up hooking up with a Rolling Stones photographer to do a story on him, and she ends up taking him home and having all the fun overnight. And the other bartender, the old guy, makes a bet with her by the end of the week she'll be with another man. And the other man happened to be the other bartender because he made a move on Coral. Was the name that she used, and she was sleeping with him, and then he told her, the other bartender told her what he was saying behind her back, which was kind of mean, but that's what men do to each other. At least some of them do. They're not so good. Then after that breakup, he walks out when he finds out right then and there on the spot. And he ends up in Tahiti or Hawaii at a bar on a beach, and he ends up meeting a girl called Jordan, which is, a cute little girl that, kind of there for the weekend because he saved her friend from alcohol poisoning on the beach. called um, an ambulance for her and all that. They have a good time for a while, going together, hanging out after work, at romantics, falling in love and talking about how to get rich and who got rich, making drink umbrellas, and they called them all kinds of fun stuff. They talked about that for a while in the movie. Then the old bartender friend shows up and makes a bet with, because he shows up with his girlfriend, her wife, Pocahontas type woman that wants to stand out in front of everybody and see if she can get noticed because she's really skinny, and it's kind of funny that way. That's how that worked. Then they end up. He ends up taking a bet and going home with another woman that's rich, and he loses the first one because she caught him going out with another man, like most women think all women do, because the movies say they do. Hollywood says they do, TV says they do, because that's usually the theme of most shows. Even Cheaters says they do, and it's not always the men cheating. But, that's a different story again, different channel. I've got it on the other channel. But he ends up going back to New York with a woman called Bunny, and she's a rich CEO that just wants a plaything. So now he becomes a kept man, and he tries to get her to do what she says she's going to do, which she wasn't going to do in the first place. And she gets stuck, what are you going to call it? He gets stuck at home taking care of her. She gets up and does jazzercise all morning, early in the mornings, and takes off. And then once he realizes that he's not getting anywhere with Bunny, he breaks loose of her because they're at a place, and he ends up beating one of her employees because he says, "Easy, boy," and they were at the barbecue and insulted him quite a bit. Then he goes home and he leaves there because he's in a piss, and he goes back to Bunny's apartment, takes all of his stuff out of Bunny's apartment, and gets himself his own place, and then moves off to and then comes back and gives her the key, and they argue, and she gets upset, and then he tells her off, and then he wants to find the old girlfriend that he was really in love with and tries to explain it in makeup. And that's really difficult when you do stuff like that. If you're going to have one woman, you should stay with one woman, my opinion, of course. But he ends up going back to her, finding where she works in a restaurant, and talking to her, sitting there, getting all kinds of problems, trying to get her attention again. And next thing you know, she's all pissed off at him because he slept with another woman, and he wants to see the specials, so she brings the specials out and dumps them over his head, all 4 plates. And then she ends up taking him home after a while, after he catches up with her outside the building after work. And then she ends up taking him home so she can tell him that she's pregnant and to kick him out of her house. Then he goes sees Dad at the bar we talked about, and then goes back to try to get the girl. She's not home. She has to go to her dad's house on 5th Avenue, which turns out she's rich. And it was kind of a good movie. And he ends up fighting for the girl and gets her back. And then Dad helps him start a business called Cocktails and Dreams. And the girlfriend, now wife, would be cut off from Daddy's money, at least until she inherits it. So they have Cocktails and Dreams, and, he did the first thing Dad didn't want him to do, drinks around the house. Anyway, so that was a pretty good movie. It was funny, comedy, lots of twists and turns, and this is when they actually did movies the right way. This was distributed by Bona Vista Pictures Distributing. And I think there was Silver Screen Partners 3, Communications. No big studios involved in this one, so this was probably made by Tom Cruise or somebody with a low budget. Anyway, so it came out on July 29th, 1988, United States. 2003, around 103 minutes, not 2003. I don't know what I said there. United States, it came out in the United States, was English. The budget was 20 million. It made 171.5 million at the box office, which is not too bad, considering he didn't get rich in the Tom Cruise didn't get rich in the movie, but he got rich because of the movie, or the production team got rich because of the movie. So that was a pretty good movie. I liked it. Hopefully, you guys like it as much as I do when you go watch it, if you can find it, because it's 1988. You know, all these movie places you probably can't get a hold of it, but you know, I got it on DVD and I've had it for years. So what the heck? We'll talk about it and get it out of the way, and so we'll talk about it again. Anyway, be safe, be good, and hopefully we'll see you on the next round. Thanks for watching.